This is Meteorologist Matthew East, and thank you for clicking on to this Wednesday edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm back in the saddle again after we had some software issues straightened out now, and I hope to be able to continue these videos on basically a daily basis here. There's the surface map this morning, and we have an area of low pressure sitting back over portions of the plain states, and high pressure beginning to build down across the eastern part of the United States here. And we're going to see that cool, dry air continuing to filter into our area. With the low over the plain states, though, there's been some active thunderstorms the last night and into this morning. Some severe weather issues there. And there's even been some snow on the backside of the system into parts of Colorado. And flakes will fly in Nebraska and Kansas today with that low pressure area. The upper air low, this is off the 0Z run of the GFS, upper air low over the plain states. This is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And there we are at the surface chart, and again, that low pressure area is sitting right in here. For us, the big story today is the cooler air moving back in. It will be significantly cooler. Highs today, at least 10 degrees cooler in most spots than what we saw for highs yesterday. And tonight, the Piedmont well down into the 30s, good enough for some areas of frost in many spots tomorrow morning. All right, here we are Thursday, tomorrow, 2 in the afternoon. 500 millibar chart showing you that big upper air low back in the plain states. And there is the surface chart. The low pressure in the plains really begins to fall apart and weaken, but we'll watch another area of low pressure begin to develop along the Gulf Coast. That will be a big player in our weather. So notice you have the low pressure along the Gulf Coast, this very strong Canadian high pressure wedging down into our area. And I tell you, if this was December or January, I'd be getting really excited about snow around here. But it's October, so we're only talking about rain here in the Piedmont, but I think a pretty good amount of it. Here we are Friday, 2 in the afternoon, your upper air lows over northern Missouri. Surface low continues to develop along the Florida Panhandle. Friday a day with the clouds probably with us by the time the day starts, and as Friday unfolds, the rain should develop into our area from the southwest. It'll be a chilly day, temps into 50s Friday, and maybe even some temps trying to drop into the 40s as the rain moves in. The initial air mass very dry as that rain arrives. Saturday, 2 in the afternoon, 500 millibar chart. There's the surface chart. And the exact track of the low is still a bit up in the air. But I think we'll probably see this low pressure area again develop right along the Gulf Coast and track up into the eastern Carolinas. I think for the Charlotte and Triad zones, the wedge probably holds for most of the event, so probably no severe weather problems for the Charlotte and Triad regions. The farther east you go, you could run into some severe weather problems. But mainly just a chilly rain, and probably a lot of it. Many spots could get at least an inch of rain out of this, and maybe more, as we go through later Friday night, and into Saturday. Sunday, we're sort of in between systems here, but notice a big trough beginning to swing here into the northern part of the United States, and that's going to pull some Arctic air right on down into much of the eastern half of the country. Here we are at the surface Sunday, and your next blast of cold air really taking hold of the northern part of the United States. And here we are Monday, and that is a nice-looking trough across the eastern United States, that cold high pressure Monday afternoon centered over parts of Texas, and that's going to drive some pretty chilly air well down into the Gulf Coast region, and that'll then push on into our area with time. Here we are, 2 o'clock Tuesday. That's when we really begin to feel the cold air around here. And notice the GFS not alone. There's the European model, also in agreement of a very nice-looking full latitude trough in the eastern part of the country. So I think, yes, we're going to see a good blast of cold air next week, and we're talking about, if everything holds the way it looks right now, I think a good chance for a widespread freeze in the Piedmont by Wednesday morning of next week. We'll fine-tune that, but that's what I'm thinking right now. By Wednesday morning, a good chance for a freeze and some very chilly daytime conditions, even in spite of a lot of sunshine. Very gusty northerly winds here being indicated Tuesday afternoon. And also want to mention, both, first of all, at the tail end of this weekend system, there might be a few snowflakes flying up in the North Carolina mountains by Saturday night. And then better chances of really some upslope type snow showers up in the mountains if all holds to form the way it looks right now as we get into Tuesday of next week. So maybe the first little upslope snow shower of end of the season for the mountains next week. We'll see. There's your average first date of the fall freeze. And for the triad, the average date falls between October 21st and October 31st, so a freeze next week would be right on schedule, so to speak. It would be a little early for Charlotte, as the city of Charlotte itself normally doesn't see a freeze until the first week of November. But you get the idea. That first freeze probably just around the corner. And very quickly here, fall foliage report. The highest elevations around Grandfather Mountain have lost most of their leaves, but still some nice color between 2,000 and 4,000 feet in elevation. This is the picture I snapped from the Blue Ridge Parkway yesterday looking toward Grandfather Mountain. And the top of the mountain was obscured by cloud cover, but still some nice color to be seen elsewhere. And that's a picture from the Blowing Rock looking down to the mountains below. And it was sort of overcast with just some peaks of sun at this point in time, so the color doesn't look very vibrant, but there is still a lot of very nice color to see. All right, that's it for this edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great Wednesday, and God bless.